No, I don't think I could love Jermaine Defoe any more than I already do. I stand corrected. Glorious! No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 982 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we have the return of the Greyhound and what that may or may not mean for the Mr. Buffalo Soldier that's currently at the club. Should we be worried? I'll be trying to break that down in today's video. And last but not least, we have a football club wanting some cashola for a player that we've already signed on a pre-contract. So I ask you, the people, should we pay some money or should we wait to the end of the season? On. There's going to be a lot of updates on the transfers that's gone through, letting you know some breakdowns of the deals, etc, etc. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing so and help us on our way towards that 25k mark. That's a Scotty Arfield reference. He's getting it. Dartcheville. But without any further ado, let's just jump right into today's video then, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Story number 1 then, it's going to be a short one and it's going to be right to the point. You already know Ryan Hardie, aka the Greyhound, has been recalled early from his Livingston loan. He's back, he's travelling over to Tenerife to get amongst the first team squad. Now, if you've followed this channel for a long time, you know how much I rate Ryan Hardie. I think he's just got something you can't teach, that natural instinct in front of the goal. He sees composure. Most of his goals actually come from one-on-ones. He's just got the ability to either sit the goalkeeper down or just go by him and finish it. The man has got the natural instincts to be a goal scorer, and he's been doing actually really well at Livingston. You think of Ryan Hardie, he's been a bit of a journeyman in terms of loans in the last 3 or 4 years, but wherever he's been, he's scored goals, and this was a big year for Ryan Hardie. Got a 1-year contract extension and he got loaned out for the first time in a team in the top division to see if he had what it takes to lead the line at the Glasgow Rangers. And it didn't start well for him, if I'm honest with you. You might look at his appearances and say, why didn't he play so much? Was he not getting amongst the first team, etc.? No, it was actually because he was actually injured, and he had a pretty serious injury for the first 3 or 4 months of the season, but he slowly came back into the squad. He got fully fit, and from the minute he went back on the field, in his first substitute appearance with 15-20 minutes to go, the guy went on and scored, and that just summed up. He's played 7 overall appearances for Livingston this season and he's managed 5 goals, which if you actually break down his stats is a goal every 86 minutes, and it's even more impressive considering all 7 appearances that he's played this season haven't all been starts. The man is just amongst the goals. But before we dive any deeper into what it could mean for the overall squad, let's just ask you, the people watching this video, what do you think about Ryan Hardie being recalled early from his loan? Do you think it's going to be a good move for Rangers and Ryan Hardie? Do you think he's even going to play? Or are you slightly disappointed that he wasn't given the full season now that he's fully fit to see what he can really do in the top flight? Let me know in the comment section below. My opinion, I'm absolutely delighted for the lad. The man lives and breathes Rangers. That's why you see him constantly tweeting. This is clearly where he wants to be, and he's done it the hard way. He's never been necessarily picked first all the time. He's had to go loans, but now it looks like seemingly he's done enough to impress Steven Gerrard, so I couldn't be happier for him, and hopefully now going forward he can actually even more impress and get amongst the first team and get amongst the goals as well for the Greyhound. So that's going to be story number 1 wrapped up in a neat little bow as we move to story number 2, which has a bit of a correlation with story number 1. But before we get there, let's start off with some news. It's going to be none other than Alfredo Morelos, and as you can imagine, for a striker who's the top goal scorer in the league, who's been absolutely carrying Rangers for the majority of the season, there's so many transfer rumours about this guy. It's coming from everywhere. His agent, to be honest with you, isn't really doing too much to help that situation, firing out tweets like that, which got a lot of people worried. Yes, he did delete it very quickly. However, it might not be Alfredo Morelos he's actually talking about. It may just be another client. But if you start putting the pieces together, it wasn't just his agent tweet, it was the fact that he has not travelled to Tenerife with the rest of the squad. Ryan Hardie is already there, but Alfredo Morelos isn't, so there was a lot of questions to why that wasn't. But the news actually broke earlier today that the reason he isn't in Spain just now with the current squad is because Gerrard is actually rewarding him for his efforts in the first half of the season and gave him an extra 24 hours off. So if you think about it, he's actually rewarded him for battering 4 Celtic players, which is brilliant. Now, left unexplained, those first 2 topics with the agent tweet and then Alfredo Morelos not travelling with the squad, it could be a major red flag. But I think they've got reasonable explanations and I actually kind of believe them. And then obviously Mark Allen, who's the director of Football Rangers, has had this to say regarding Alfredo Morelos today. Ultimately, Alfredo will probably want to play at a different level. Our job is to hold on to him for as long as we can. There is no intention of letting him go right now, and we'll see what the future takes him. He also goes on to talk about how he's getting a lot of bad press, which I think is absolutely disgusting. The media is absolutely embarrassment. You've seen what they've caused with beating, getting death threats, etc. Now they're trying to wash their hands with it. They're just as guilty with Alfredo Morelos trying to get people to turn on him. Something I really rate, by the way, is Mark Ellen has actually addressed this and called it out. I will leave the link to the full interview, by the way, if you want to read. That will be down in the description. So we'll move on from that just now and keep the focus on Alfredo Morelos. He's been just a different animal this season. He's been absolutely incredible. Last season he had his good bits and his bad bits, and he seemed to fall away and miss loads and loads of chances, but now he's doing all the hard work that he was doing last season, but he's also matured in front of the goal and he's scoring big goals in big games, and that is the difference with Alfredo Morelos. He's doing it in Europe, he's doing it in Scottish football now, and you can see why there's people interested in him. There's a lot of rumours in the last hour or two that the team in Turkey, I believe it's either Galatasaray or Betask, I can't pronounce their name, I apologise, is rumoured to be wanting to put in a £60 million bid. Now, I've tried to look any deeper into that, but it just looks like it's one of these accounts in Turkey that may or may not be just making up BS, so read into that what you will, but I think I can sit here and say confidently on the channel that Alfredo Morelos won't be going anywhere. The fact that we've recalled Ryan Hardie isn't necessarily the nail on Alfredo Morelos' Rangers career. I think it's actually just in strengthening our squad, because if we are moving to two up front with Jermaine Defoe and Alfredo Morelos, we are going to need some rotation, especially with the games we're playing and if anyone gets injured. So having Kyle Lafferty and Ryan Hardie there to come in, play cup games, whatever, going forward, I think it's a smart move by Steven Gerrard. And also, having someone like Ryan Hardie there when Jermaine Defoe's there, what an absolute incredible learning experience that's going to be, not only for Alfredo Morelos, but for young Ryan Hardie. He's going to be learning directly from one of the top marksmen in the Premier League's ever seen, Jermaine Defoe. So I think it's an incredibly clever move. I know there's a lot to worry about Alfredo Morelos, but as it stands just now, I'm not overly worried. So I think it's quite clear to see how I feel about the situation. I'm pretty confident Alfredo Morelos will stay, but again, this channel isn't about me, it's about getting your thoughts and opinions out there. So what do you think? Do you feel like all of this is just smoke and mirrors and Alfredo Morelos will be here? Or do you think there's no smoke without fire and this could potentially move Alfredo Morelos on in January? That's exactly what I asked Twitter. Now it's got 1,556 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. 17% of the people votes for no, they are not confident about keeping Alfredo Morelos at the club in January, but 83% of the people votes for yes, they are confident the Buffalo Soldier will be here till lift 55. So let's see what the people had to say. Jordan says, yes, we can't afford to lose him, and Gerrard said he's 100% staying. Jonathan saying, only reason I see Rangers willing to sell is if his head's gone, but can't see that happening now we're joint top. Bags another dozen goals by the end of the season, he could be worth 20+ million in the summer. Ross Watson said, Gerrard said he's not for sale, so I'm 99% sure he's staying, but if he does leave, I'll cry. And Wallace. Brilliant. Danny Taylor says, I'll tell you one thing, CJ, if he leaves for someone like Watford or anyone that's not in European football, he has made a massive, massive mistake. Agreed, mate. Gary Thompson said, Hardie's on the plane now, so I am currently 50-50. Scott McCauley says, with Hardie being recalled and his agents deleted tweets, I'm not so sure. Hopefully nothing comes of it. And Ross Manton actually fires in a pretty interesting tweet, so I'm going to read this one out last. He says, if Morelos goes, how much would you actually be happy? He says, A, 5 to 10 million, B, 10 to 15 million, or C, 15 to 20+ million. So that's actually a real interesting and interactive question. So if you do want to interest, if he does leave this January, is it A, B, or C? Me, I'm going to go with D. I don't want to sell him at all. Now that we've reached the third and final part of today's episodes, let's give you a little updates on the last couple of videos, a little clean-up bit as well. Regarding Stephen Davis, he's actually signed a 6-month loan agreement, which will obviously take him to the end of his contract, where it'll look like Rangers will sign him on a free transfer. I think that's very, very clever and quite shrewd by Rangers. Something I've not said in a very, very long time. The next part of this video is something I was quite surprised about, because me personally, I thought it'd be Jordan Jones who would be heavily linked to join up with Rangers in January, even with his players booing him at his anniversary dinner, etc. But no, it's actually going to be Glenn Kamara. Dundee are apparently very, very keen on selling Kamara to Rangers in January for some cash before they obviously lose him out for free. Dundee's apparently want to sell him so they can reinvest into their squad and try and help them out of the relegation zone. So this one really makes sense to me. So I can understand from a Dundee's point of view what they want to do. However, on the Rangers side of things, I look at that midfield. I think we're extremely stacked in that position. Some of our best players on form this season is in that position for him. So if we did pay some money to bring him in January, would he really add a lot in the last 4 or 5 months of the season going into the second half? Is he even going to be playing? Would we just be wasting money for the sake of it? Not that I'm saying he's not a good player, and I'm sure he is. That is why we signed him. But he is coming to the club in the summer anyway, and would he really benefit the club just now? as it stands. Going ahead paying £100,000 to £250,000 for the sake of it. I'm not too sure in this one. In fact, if I'm honest with you, I wouldn't spend the money on that. I'd rather use whatever funds we've got available to strengthen other areas in the squad that we need to strengthen. The midfield's absolutely stacked, so I'm going to say no to bringing in Kamara in January. However, what's your thoughts on that? I have no idea how this poll's going to go. I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority as always. So 657 votes, thank you so much. Oh wow, 51% of the people votes for no, don't sign him in January, but 49% of the people votes for yes, bring him in. I think that's the tightest poll that we've ever had on the channel. So let's see what they've had to say. Liam Hamilton says, yeah, good replacement for Koulibaly. Ewan McKenzie says, no, in my opinion, we don't need him yet. Ford said, yes, but don't pay them much since we're already getting him. Very fair point. John Beaton's the GOAT. Oh, you. Think it would be a pointless unless we plan to cut Koulibaly's loan deal short. I like the lad low and can't wait to see him in our colours. Gordon Wood says, yes, so he can be integrated into the squad as soon as possible. Wouldn't pay too much for him though, like 80 grand max. May need him for the later part of the year if God forbid anything happens to Jack or McCrory. More recruits for the 55 the better our chances will be. Very, very good point there. Wiz says, we can wait, why help Dundee out? Adam Durrick said, don't think we need a midfield player this month as we have Davis in this month and we have good depth in midfield. And Fraser MCM says, only if it's for like £50,000. And the last two or three that we'll read out come from Stephen. He says, I don't really see the point, to be honest. We don't need him just now. And the last one we'll read out comes from Carlo Zamboni. We don't need a midfield player now unless we're getting rid of some players. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You've heard the people's opinion, you've heard mine. Hopefully you've got involved as well. A friendly reminder, if you'd like to support the channel directly, just like this bad boy of a new camera, the link for that will be in the description below to the Patreon. I've been CJNova992. If you don't mind hitting the like button, we've hit over 1,000 likes in the last 3 or 4 videos. It genuinely means a lot and helps other people find the video, helps the nation grow. So I'd greatly appreciate that. And as always, thank you for watching and bye.